back to Creation Guys. This is episode 3 with Jonathan Sampson and my good friend here, Eric Hoven, who's been generous enough to provide us the housing unit for today's episode.
We're chilling out here talking about intellectual honesty.
For those who aren't quite familiar with what we're talking about, or are instantly saying, screw you creationists, you guys are the worst people to say that. Let's get into kind of where we're coming from. We just recently saw the movie Expelled.
Dude, great movie. I was out in California, took a whole audience out there to see it at the theater. Round of applause when the movie was over. The message was extremely clear and very well presented in the movie Expelled.
It was phenomenal.
Ben,
I took my wife to see it.
job.
Yeah, Ben did a tremendous job. So in this movie, there were many different profiles kind of emphasized. Some of them were Richard Dawkins. Everyone knows him. He wrote books like The Selfish Gene, The God Delusion, which is one that we could talk about at any time too. And then there's also Eugenie Scott with the National Center for Science Education was another one, amidst other people like P.Z. Myers and quite a few people.
I tell you, great job, great interviews, and they really got the truth out of these people, even though they're trying to cover it up now.
Yeah. You know, Eugenie Scott, we talk about how people put on different faces. I have a book at the house right now called Faking Church, and it's kind of how some Christians, when they go to church, they're a totally different person. And they can be reaching around beating their kids until they get back into the church, and then, you know, they got this, hi, it's good to see you, brother, praise the Lord. And then they get back down there, you shut your mouth, you stupid little ugly, you know, and
let's not talk about my drive home from church tonight. Let's move on, okay?
Someone's getting convicted. So, but the evolutionists are kind of doing the same thing in academic arenas.
They are.
You know, they come out in the world and they're saying, you know, we just want to make sure that science is staying pure and all the good stuff is being taught.
And in the media and in the news, we already know this is true. It's not even a question.
Yeah.
But behind the scenes, one on another's. So you wondering the same thing I'm wondering, you know?
I mean, the stupid creationists off the televisions, out of the news, get them out of the public arena, or the intelligent design proponents.
Oh, yeah. Not the same thing as creation, even though they want you to believe that.
Very different. We could go into that too. That would take some other time too.
Go.
But anyway,
intellectual honesty.
So we're talking. You know, Richard Dawkins has said things like, "It is perfectly safe to say that if you meet someone who does not profess to believe in evolution, that person is stupid, insane, wicked. Or just ignorant." You know, some of these things. I'll put the actual quote up right here for you guys. But to say something like that, to say that if you don't believe in evolution, you are either ignorant, insane, or wicked. I mean, that is not intellectually honest right there.
No, it's not. It's really not being open.
You know,
I appreciated the fact, Richard, that you were very intellectually honest when it came to why you are an atheist.
Yeah.
The reason you're an atheist is because of evolution. Because if evolution is true, there is no God. What God would use evolution, which is death and suffering, to get what you want? Mm-hmm. Something has to evolve and then the rest die off in order for that to continue evolving.
It's completely retarded.
What God would use that?
You know, there were people like Jeffrey Dahmer who did horrible things. And then during an interview, I can't remember, I think it was ABC, he did this interview with, he said, I feel no guilt. I didn't feel any guilt because there's no God. If we're all just here by just some chance explosion, why should I feel bad? If I want to do something, I'll do it. And so, you know, Richard Dawkins is very open. He says, evolution is why I'm an atheist.
I appreciate him being intellectually honest about that, and at the same time, not intellectually honest
when he's reflecting his opponent's views. You know, Eugenie Scott and these people hate it because he is out there saying, yes, atheism is the product of evolution, a belief and acceptance of evolution. And Eugenie Scott's out there saying, shut your mouth. We're trying to get this into the schools.
We got a Christian nation that we're trying to push evolution in, which we know says that, but we can't say that because they wouldn't let us push it. So they try to cover it up. She tries to talk about the people she has on staff that are Christians, and I'm sorry, the two don't mix.
You got people like, the people who are on her staff are all compromising Christians. They don't really care what the Bible says in regards to the history of the earth. And then there's people like Ken Miller, who's a Roman Catholic, who, again, doesn't care what Genesis says. His whole thing is, well, I don't think God would deceive us with evidence.
You're welcome to believe in a God that used evolution.
Yeah.
But you're breaking commandment number 2. You're making a God to suit yourself. Mm-hmm. The real God did it right the very first time.
You know, there's the whole victory cry of these people, of the atheists and evolutionists, is that no scientist believes in creation.
You're not being intellectually honest. Come on, why do they try to spread this lie?
It's it's like FUD in the tech world. We call it fear, uncertainty, and doubt.
Oh.
It's trying to get people to think, well, no intelligent person does believe in creation. They're trying to spread this FUD. And so we have people like Dr. Denton, who taught for 30 years anatomy at the Washington School of Medicine in St. Louis. I mean, if he is an ignorant fool, as we're being led to believe,
because he's a
creationist.
Young Earth creationist.
Yes. Shh. If that's the case, he's been teaching anatomy at this medical school for over 30 years. We need to do a mass recall on all these doctors.
Yeah, kidding, man. They're going to kill somebody.
They're going to kill
something is going to happen. They're going to be in the surgery room and say, "Oh goodness, I believe in God. I don't believe in evolution. Oh no, surgery's not going to go too well.
Beating heart.
What do I do?"
I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. So you get this kind of nonsense going. You have people like Dr. Raymond Damadian, who pioneered magnetic resonance imaging,
which is MRI for the layman,
used in practically every major hospital all over the world now. And this guy is a young Earth creationist. So you can't say that no intelligent person accepts creation. Doesn't make sense.
It doesn't.
But we see a lot of these arguments online today. We were looking at the infidel forum last night.
Not intellectually honest.
No, definitely not. There's atheists in here talking to other atheists in preparation to debate a creationist. And so they're saying, we're just two atheists here. I'm going to go debate this creationist, this stupid creationist. But he's a fool and I want to show it to him.
Okay.
I'm going to ask him about the flood. Because I know there's no scientific evidence for that. I'm going to ask him, where did the water come from and where did it go?
You know what he's going to say?
What?
He's going to say, God did it. God made it appear, then God made it disappear. That's what he's going to say.
Freaking idiots.
Man, they're so stupid.
And cut. Scene. So, in the real world, who says God did it? God did it. God made it happen. I mean, there's whole books. Noah's Ark, a feasibility study that was published.
Yep.
Nowhere in there does he say, oh, God just did it. God just made it happen. This is
the
scientist.
The information is really there if you want to see it. The problem is many people don't want to see it.
I've told so many people like this, there are so many atheists and evolutionists who can't find the evidence for a creator or for creation for the same reason a thief can't find a police officer.
That's exactly right.
They don't want to find that, and that's why you have atheists responding to atheists with straw man arguments, trying to portray horrible Christian responses. Because unfortunately, the evolutionists, the people like Eugenie Scott, are not responding logically. Here we have scientists who are very upset with the way scientists are working, and rather than looking at the facts, we have the evolutionists who are dragging it all into the courtrooms and saying, Judge, please tell us what is and isn't science.
Man, if you're going to go and say, well, the judge determined, that it wasn't science. Now we're going to let the judge decide?
Who is the judge? I mean, to determine what is and isn't scientifically accurate. We could just as easily say, well, my pastor decided that Genesis was the most scientifically accurate text in all of existence.
So there.
Yes, my pastor is qualified to decide the science of the world. If we're really concerned for truth, if we're really concerned about getting truth in textbooks, teaching our kids, our future depends on this.
It does.
The future of, I don't have any children yet, you do, but your children depend on this.
Yes.
We need to debate the facts, not pull it into this political thing where we're not going to be intellectual honest. We're going to smear the character of our opponents. Yeah. We're going to mischaracterize their arguments, and we're just going to completely make a mockery of ourselves.
I'll leave you with what Ben Stein said. He said, in the 19th century, Darwinian evolution was a brilliant theory. The problem is science has surpassed Darwinian evolution. The science that we see today really undermines Darwinian evolution. The problem is they don't have anything else to grab onto.
Yeah, and they're unwilling to open their minds just a little bit so that an intelligent thought can be dropped in.
Be intellectually honest, would you?
And we will try to do the same. So that is a story for episode 3 of The Creation Guys. If you want to check out more about Eric Hovind, check out his website, drdino.com. And if you want to learn more about The Creation Guys, check out creationguys.com. That's episode 3 in the can.